This is Steve Beverly asking for your help. WLJT Channel 11, West Tennessee's home for educational and quality TV since 1968, needs your financial support. We don't sell commercials. Instead, we rely on donations from viewers. Channel 11 is the most local station in all of West Tennessee, bringing you local shows about events, happenings, and issues important to West Tennessee. It's really easy to donate. Go to westtnpbs.org. It's quick, easy, and secure. Donate today and show your support for local, educational, and quality television. Channel 11 needs your support today.
Get ready for a trip back in time. For 5 decades, WLJT has been bringing local TV into your homes.
Now relive the best shows of the past as West Tennessee's PBS presents Retro 11! Retro 11! Retro 11! Retro 11!
Hello and welcome to the 19th Annual Irish Festival in Dresden, Tennessee. I'm John Harris, and joining me today is my co-host, Steve Beverly from Union University.
Thank you very much, Johnny, and you could not expect a better day, and usually there's a little chill in the air, but this is typical spring parade weather. The smell of hamburgers is in the air. Lovely ladies, as you see this one here on the scene, the sound of sirens, and it is a great day in Dresden, Tennessee for this Irish Festival parade, and we look forward to a wonderful and colorful event.
We do that, and the parade has just gotten underway, so you're not going to miss much here. And this is on WLJT, your public television station serving all of West Tennessee. What do we got coming up, Steve?
Well, we have seen some of the law enforcement units, and right here is the rescue squad from this region, from Weakley County, and it has been certainly a tradition in this parade, as it is for all of the others that we cover here on WLJT, to see these law enforcement and safety units to lead the way. And they started gathering, I'm told, this morning on the streets about 6 o'clock, and we are going to have someone with us very, very early on to talk to us about this parade. And I think that one of the things we've seen, it's grown every year since it has originated back in 1980 when the whole thing started. It has, and in fact, you've been doing this, Steve, for a number of years, and this may be the best year yet. I think so, because last year about 9:30, this of course is taped right around 10 o'clock in the morning. Around 9:30, we had a heavy load of a cold front, and certainly there was a lot of wind and rain that came through, and then finally we got the parade in. We were so cold that I think they zipped the floats along. We're joined now by Mayor Mike Pentecost, who is with us here, and Mayor, it is a delight to have you with us this morning.
I'm proud to be here, and we always appreciate our TV station, the coverage we get. And I think y'all brought some good weather with us for a change.
Well, I hope so, Mayor. What do you think about this year's festival?
It's gone real well so far. The weather at the first part of the week, the carnival suffered some, but maybe this afternoon and tonight they'll make up for it.
Well, the day of the parade, that's the one you want the crescendo to hit. How many people go into the working of this parade? Because I know that it is really a year-long organization to make sure that you critique what you did the year before and make the next one even better. How many people actually go together to volunteer to make this happen?
Probably actual physical work and planning, probably 40, 50 people. We do have an executive committee, and we'll meet monthly. All the committee chairmen will meet about quarterly planning. So it's a big planning process. And then as far as most of the physical work, city employees will move in grandstands, chairs, tables.
Well, we know it's a busy type of activity, and we have enjoyed coming over here these many years. And we again want to thank you for being with us, and we again congratulate you on what we think is another successful festival here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Pentecost. Mayor Mike Pentecost. And John, we have one of the first color guard units here.
We do, as you see here, the color guard coming down should be, let's see, what do we got? The 1174th color guard from the Dresden unit of the Tennessee National Guard.
And we see them every year. Of course, Mayor Pentecost and all of the good folks here, they treat us royally, and as we said, that you get here on Saturday morning, and one of the first things when you get out of your car is the smell of this hamburger that's roasting and grilling right behind us. And I think you saw somebody this morning that was grabbing one for breakfast.
Actually, that's right. Bob Johnson was having one this morning, and it looks so good. I'm going to have one before this day's over.
You bet. Well, now we have some of the great music that you'll hear in this parade, and this is a tradition. The 129th Army Band from Nashville, Tennessee, the commander, First Lieutenant Thad Perry, performing National Emblem March and Washington Post March. Christy and William would like to express their thanks to these gentlemen for helping in this year's parade. Let's listen to them. Marshal of this year's parade, John Mark Maddox.
Representative Mark Maddox of Dresden, Tennessee. He filled the seat left vacant when Roy Herron was elected to the state senate. Beside his responsibilities in the state legislature, Mark has worked as Weakley County Technology Director since July of 1992 and serving the needs of Weakley County schools as well as the Weakley County Center for Adult and Continuing Education.
And here is Dr. Joe, the outstanding citizen of Dresden, along with the Grand Marshal. This is the great honor every year in the city of Dresden. Dr. Joe Anderson is an optometrist. He has been since 1953 here in Dresden and has been one of the great citizens to Weakley County. He and his wife, as they travel along here with this parade route, he's been a Rotarian for 45 years. Joe and Patty Crawford Anderson been married for 46 years, and we congratulate him. And now here's the man who calls the shots in Nashville.
He is the governor, Don Sundquist. We appreciate him being here, coming to Dresden and being here at the parade. He's been a supporter of public television throughout Tennessee, and we always appreciate his support. And glad that he could join us here in Weakley County today.
Well, Governor and Mrs. Sundquist try their best to make all of these special festivals all throughout West Tennessee. And as he said last week at the Fish Fry Parade, he said it's been a little bit of a trying period in Nashville as they've recovered from those storms. And Carrie Killebrew, who is a candidate for county executive, and one of the things you find at this time of year, there's nothing like a parade to bring out all of the politicians who are either already in or are running for office. And we are joined here. We have a special guest with us. We're going to have a lot of guests throughout the day today, as you see Carrie Killebrew. City Councilman Keith Hardman is joining us now. And Mr. Hardman, good to have you with us. And again, this is a great day for the city of Dresden and for all of this region.
A big day for the whole city. The weather is beautiful. It's good to have you folks with us today, Dave and John. We're excited as can be because the weather has been rainy and cloudy all week, and it's turned out beautiful, and it's a big crowd, and just a good day all around, I think. So we're just excited as can be.
Well, we know that in the time and the organization that goes into this kind of parade, that it takes a lot of very precise clockwork of all of the people on the committees that you have, and then you've got, in addition to your executive committee, you got a lot of volunteers that work through the high schools and through the other organizations here in town to make this a success.
Very true, and we're very fortunate those folks just kind of jump in there and take the ball and run with it, and everything works so smooth, and so I can't say enough to thank them for what they do.
And Keith, I know there are activities that go on beyond just this parade that will wind up this festival for all of the week of activities that have occurred.
We do have the cook-off this afternoon that's ongoing. I think the flower shows may be open for a little while longer. And the carnival, if not drowned it out, is going on. So anyway, there are things going this afternoon.
Well, we want to thank you again for being with us and for all the hospitality that we are shown every time that we do this parade. It's been a delight to be here, and we're looking forward to having a great parade this morning.
Well, it's good to have y'all with us.
Thank you very much. And once again, City Councilman Keith Hardman for joining us.
And here you see coming up one of the host bands, the Dresden Middle School Marching Lions, under the direction of Mr. Toby Hayes. Total members is 33, and they're going to be performing Rocket.
Now, that's one thing that they do this year. They are giving us the names of the tunes, and I can't name that tune while we do this parade, John. Let's listen to the Dresden Middle School Marching Lions. And the Dresden Middle School Marching Lions with Rocket, and they're getting a nice hand from the folks in the reviewing stand. And John, we want to remind everyone that in addition to the coverage for those who are watching on Saturday night, that this parade will be replayed again next Sunday night, which of course will be May the 10th, and that'll be at 10 o'clock here on WLJT.
That is exactly correct. And we at Channel 11 are very happy to be out covering events like this. Of course, there you see Mayor Mike Pentecost and some of the people on the reviewing stand. You know, a lot of people are out. This cannot be a better day, and it's a good group of people. There's been a lot of things going on this week. I mean, with the flower show and quilting show, barbecue cook-offs. And so this is just another one of West Tennessee's great events.
Well, there's one thing about festivals like this. There's always flowers and food. And at this time of year, you got to have the flowers because they're in full bloom. And if you travel all around this circuit here, last weekend when we were up at Paris for the fish fry, that's $7 all you can eat fish is one of the best bargains anywhere. And here they have some of the greatest barbecue and some of the most fantastic hamburgers anywhere around. And if you've never been to an Irish festival before, and if you're living in West Tennessee watching us tonight, I do suggest that you come out and see us next year. Now, we've got another of the great bands from right here in Dresden, John.
We do. Another host band, the Dresden High School Marching Lions, under the direction of Mr. Toby Hayes. Total members is 21, and they will be performing Free Ride.
They're getting their exercise, getting ready for this number. Dresden High Marching Lions performing Free Ride, and the hometown bands entertaining all of the hometown folks so wonderfully. And we have with us now City Councilman Keith Hardman. No, pardon me, we have William Winstead. We've already had Keith here. I'm sorry, this is William Winstead, our parade co-chairman, who has joined us here at the microphone. William, tell me how much work it takes to put together a parade like this.
Believe it or not, a lot. Believe it or not. It started with us in January when I was asked to help out. Me and Christy Parsley were the co-chairman, and I'm just a part-time employee at Weakley County Bank and a college student as well. And it was a good opportunity for me to help out the community of Dresden that has given me so much because I'm a hometown boy.
And as we'll hold you right here while we see Pat Scarborough, who is a candidate for re-election of county court clerk here in these parts, and again, one of the many politicians. Tell us how many hours you put in to get this thing put together. I know it's a lot of work because I've been around on these kinds of committees.
Well, I started, like I said, probably in January, just getting different things out and getting the lineup is what you see in front of you takes a lot of work to work on. And it started when I'd come into work and go to 4 o'clock every day and sometimes later.
John, and we got the Irish Festival royalty.
We do have. The float is sponsored by the Dresden Pilot Club. Irish hostess princess is Jody Bennett. First maid is Dana Stanfield. Second maid is Amber Stolliff. And the junior miss hostess princess, Katie Mayo. First maid Marla Adams. Second maid Heather Jo Buckley. And wanted to get them by, as they are the royalty for the Irish Festival.
And that beautiful purple float, as we see so much of the purple color of the Irish Festival, and they're going to come down off of that float and join the folks in the reviewing stand for this. Now, how many people do you have that work with you on organizing all of these things? And all told, before this is over with, how many exhibits, how many floats, how many cars are we going to see go by?
We have about 95 entries, I believe, which is up, which we're very proud of. We've got more bands this year. We're glad that we have got Dyer County and I believe Parsons Riverside coming a long way to help us celebrate the Irish Festival. And I was proud to get those people here. As far as the many people that have helped out, everybody being helpful in any way, just calling on the phone, wanting the people's names, wanting colors of the float, anything that they need to help out. And the Dresden community and the Irish Festival Committee have been wonderful to help us out.
Well, William, we thank you for joining us, and again, congratulations on what we believe before this is over with is going to be the biggest and best parade yet.
Definitely, the parade weather is one thing that we were worried about, but it's awesome. It looks great. I'm proud.
Well, thank you very much, William, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, sir.
All right, and John, we've got the Junior Miss Irish Festival host and hostess.
We do, and you see this float is sponsored by the City of Dresden. The theme, Irish Time in Tennessee. Pageant sponsored by Dresden Pilot Club. Queen Abby Turbyville. King Drew Walker. First maid Rachel Blankenship. First page Jacob Hatchell. Second maid Brooke Hornsby. And second page is Jason Rollins.
And we just saw a close-up of Abby, and she's one of my special friends. I knew her when she was 2 years old, and I have seen her grow up, and now she's riding on this float. Well, next up we have Selden Cashin, who is a candidate for road supervisor. And you see a lot of these folks just enjoy so much riding in these convertibles through these parade routes. I haven't ridden in many parades, John, but I know one of the ones I did, I rode on top of a live remote van and was nearly clobbered by a traffic light in the middle of Carolina Beach, North Carolina. I retired from that after that. John, we now have the spring pageant from the Dresden PTO.
And this is the 0 to 11 month winners, Queen Cheyenne Barker and King Benny McWhorter.
Now here, when you see them and this truck passes right along the back of us, you're going to see probably the youngest riders in this whole parade right there.
Look at there, and I mean, that is great, isn't it?
They will never forget that. I hope they're videotaping this at home, because that's going to be a monumental keepsake for those kids. Of course, a lot of them, until they get to be about 18, 21, 25 years old, they don't want you to remind them of that at all. Oh, we have, again, I think that probably the estimate is 40, 50,000 people here to watch this parade, and it has certainly grown from the time it started. We now have the Greenfield Tiny Tot, and this is the age 1 through 2. Rolling on the Irish Festival is the theme of this. And the Queen is Montana Vinson. And the King is Brennan Chase Marr. And we see the rest of the court.
Now, right there, of course, you see the pickup truck leading this, and actually it's rolling on to the Irish Festival. And this is a great little train of cars, as you see here. I mean, this is something, and this was our out-of-town miscellaneous winner. Now, this is a real neat thing. Look at there. Now, that is something, isn't it, Steve?
Now, this is the kind of thing that when I was a kid, I would have loved to have taken this home after the parade and just had somebody pull me around it and get my friends together. You can't beat this.
I can read some of that. King Brennan Marr, Queen Montana Vinson. And, of course, we go all the way down from first maid to fourth maid, and Paige is with them. And, of course, right at the end, got the little wagon pulling the extra goodies there.
That is the most creative thing I've seen in a long, long time. We have these great fellows from the Dresden Masonic Lodge, number 90, with the theme Brotherly Love right here. And it's always good to see them every year in this parade. Wearing the Stars and Stripes.
You know, an event like this is always a time to get out and get involved with any group you've got. And, you know, so this is great. And, of course, joining us, getting ready, we're going to have to use that mic. Mark Maddox. Mark got to be Grand Marshal this year. Congratulations.
I sure did. It was a great day for a parade. I wish that folks we had this kind of weather every year. I tell you what, we've had about 5 years of some real heavy-duty rain, and sometimes we have cold weather, but today we could not have ordered this any better.
Let me break in very quickly while we are talking to you here, Mark. We have the Irish Territorial winners that are just now passing by in front of us. The theme of their float is Irish Time in Tennessee. It's sponsored by Just Hair, and the queen is Christy Brown, and you see all the rest of her court joining us there. Mark, it has to be a great honor for you to be the Grand Marshal of this event and to have an opportunity to represent this community and this county and what is really the most special time of year for them.
It certainly is an honor for me to be back home, and we finished up the General Assembly last night about 9 o'clock. I finally got home about midnight, and then to be able to come out here tonight or this morning and be the Grand Marshal for the parade and be able to see the people here, it's been a great day.
One last thing is we've got coming before us now the Greenfield Tiny Tot, and they're the ages 3 and 4, sponsored by Greenfield PTO. The theme is Put on a Happy Face. The queen, Rihanna Nicole Potts. The king is Merritt Spence. First maid, Brianna Rochelle. First page is Chase Pentecost. Second maid, Kelsey Hendricks. Second page, Dakota Bills. Third maid is Abby McDaniel, and third page is Caleb Patterson. And while they pass by, Mark, your assessment of this legislative session.
We had a good legislative session. I think we accomplished some things. I'm going to take about a week and kind of gather my thoughts. You know, when you get in the heat of battle, you sometimes don't have the opportunity to gather your thoughts, but I'll be publishing some things in the paper so we can know exactly what we did. I certainly want to thank WLJT Channel 11 for being with us today. Appreciate what they do in our community. It's good to see all the, you know, there's communities from all over Weakley County here today and from all over West Tennessee, and we come together on days like today, and we certainly want to say thank you and appreciate y'all being here.
And thank you for spending your time with us, and congratulations on being Grand Marshal. John, if you'll fill us in on who these folks are that we've just seen pass by us.
I will do that. That was the East Weakley County Unit of the American Cancer Society riding the car. The Honorable Chairperson, Guy Neal Holman. And 1997 Honorable Chairperson was Pat Brundridge, and the 96 Chairperson was Doris Nanny. And they were there. Coming up next, we have the West Tennessee Twirlers.
And these include folks from Martin, Trenton, Kenton. I like that, Martin, Trenton, Kenton, and Crockett County students. They are instructed by Ginger Harrison. And here they come down the middle of Main Street here in downtown Dresden, Tennessee. And this is one thing I love about these festivals, John, is the fact that it gives an opportunity for, particularly on a day like this, but for a full week, it gives an opportunity for the small towns to be big towns across West Tennessee.
Exactly right, and it gives an opportunity for individuals like this, the young people, to get out and actually perform in front of a crowd, which, you know, they don't have that opportunity in small towns a lot.
Now, we can't hear any music, and that's why we're not stopping at this point. I think what is happening is the lady who is leading this group has got a boom box that they can hear. We can't pick it up from our vantage point, but that's how they are getting their tempo to do the twirling. And they're getting a nice hand from the folks in the reviewing stand. I think they've got about 18 of these young ladies as they march along the street. Some of them could be leading some of these marching bands in the future that we see here in this parade every year.
I believe you're exactly right on that, Steve. So one of them will, maybe that little one right there at the last, she may be leading one of the big bands someday.
And we've got another group of folks that are just, I don't think, John, our list says Junior Mr. and Miss Gleason. I don't think that's who this is here.
Well, I'm not sure. They're just walking and enjoying the parade, and you know, that's what everybody's out doing right now.
That's right.
The parade. Coming down the street, I do see now we have the Junior Mr. and Mrs. Gleason Sweet Tater Pie, sponsored by Gleason Co-op, GSA, and Atlantic Home. Queen is Tiffany Feltz. King is Tyler Verndell. First maid, Jacqueline that's Howington. First page, Logan Jackson. Second maid, Melissa Bennett. Second page, Brom Grieve.
They have a beautiful orange float, and we saw them. And there, former Governor Ned Ray McWhirter and current Governor Don Sundquist.
Of course, always nice to see former Governor Ned Ray McWhirter, still from Dresden, Tennessee. I understand he's just kind of out on the farm nowadays.
That's right, and enjoying it very much. And one thing he's enjoying right now, seeing Miss Dresden and the court and the Junior Mr. and Miss Dresden, sponsored by the Dresden Rotary Club. Theme is Dresden Delight on this float. Miss Dresden is Tina Durham. The first maid, Buffy Wilson. Second maid, Heather Mowbray. And the third maid is Tabitha Bradbury, and the fourth maid, Carrie Cunningham. Junior Mr. Alex Bell, Junior Miss Candace McAllister, first maid Tiffany McClure, first page Roman Williams, second maid Abby Stoker, second page Brandon Odell, and in this bright yellow car, got another candidate.
We do that, and that's Jimmy Freeman, candidate for road supervisor. And that yellow looks good today, doesn't it?
You bet. And the one thing I love about these parades is I always see these vehicles that I envy, as well as the people riding them, because they are just like, particularly when you see some of those classic automobiles like we had last week, and I think there are a few that show up in this parade as well. If anybody ever has a 57 Chevy, you know, that's the kind of thing. We're not supposed to talk about brand names here on public television, but that's the one that I just covet, and you're not supposed to covet anything. Governor McWhirter enjoying again this parade. He's been such a great supporter of the events of these small towns around us. And approaching us now, the McKenzie Junior High Band. They'll be playing for us. This is the McKenzie Middle School Band, directed by Charles Pernod, the field commander, Jadra Allen. And the total band members have 68. We'll listen to them, and then we're going to have, after that, a visit with the governor. And that is the McKenzie Middle School Band as they pass in review in front of us. And we are delighted now to have with us the man who you see quite often in all of these festivals. And this has been a busy time of year, as all of it is, for Governor Don Sundquist. And it's great to have you with us again this year.
It's great to be here. This is a wonderful event, and what a great day.
Definitely so. Well, we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you about how the cleanup is coming around Nashville after those dreadful storms that we had.
The cleanup's coming along very, very well. Last Saturday they had 3,500 volunteers. We just received in the last week $6 million to hire people all over the state to assist in that effort. I believe there's going to be some bare spots, and we always mourn the loss of trees, but we're right just about up to where we were.
Let's mention that was Junior Miss McKenzie and her royalty that just passed by, Jennifer Summers. The first maid was Valerie Flippin, second maid Nicole Clark, third maid Becky Toombs, and the fourth maid Savannah Cooper. And coming right behind them, the Dresden Girl Scouts troop, number 373, and a lot of beautiful young ladies marching along with this. Governor, in looking at how things have gone with the legislative session just passed, what's your assessment?
Well, I think it was a very good session. I think if you measure it by what passed, if you measure it by what didn't pass, and sometimes that's important too, it was a good session. We don't have any new taxes, and that's 4 years in a row. In fact, we've lowered taxes on farm equipment repairs and on airplane purchases, and we are the lowest per capita tax state in the country.
State Senator Roy Herron, as you always see him, with at least one of his children marching on top or around or underneath him somewhere in these parades. And right after them, you're going to see the hostess princess in court from the world's biggest fish fry that's sponsored by the Paris Henry County JCs. They are coming along now. Crystal McManus is the queen, Bethany Nichols, Lydia Flowers, Angela Dortch, and Jessica Lovall also. And John, you were mentioning earlier that the governor has always been a tremendous supporter of public television.
Governor, as always, we at WLJT appreciate your support and what you do for public television all over Tennessee, and we're glad to have you in West Tennessee with us.
Well, I'm honored to be here. Public television is very, very important. In fact, my wife probably watches public television more than anything else. All the mystery shows, and I appreciate and value public television, but she's almost probably 90% public television stations. She really, really loves it. So we were happy to make sure that we put into a budget on a regular basis what the state obligation is, so we won't have to worry about going after it during the wee hours of the late session. And it's a good investment. It's a good investment from an educational standpoint, and that's really the most important. But it's also, it's good because you all show programs that other stations wouldn't show that need to be seen.
Well, we thank you for your support.
Including this parade right here. And right now you're seeing the Disabled American Veterans of Weakley County, and there's some of the young people watching them. Those men that you just saw from the Tennessee Chapter 98, Disabled American Veterans of Weakley County. One last thing, Governor, before we let you go. In looking, we've talked throughout all of this parade, as we did at the Fish Fry last weekend. One of the great things is that this is allowed, and you mentioned in the interview of the Fish Fry parade, that the small towns of West Tennessee are really the great places to be across this state.
Well, for too long, a lot of people have said, we have to get people to move to cities. Well, you don't have to. We ought to move to the big cities. To the extent that we can preserve the lifestyle in Weakley County, in Dresden, and other places, life is better here. You don't have the crime rates. It's a better place to raise children for the most part. And so we have to find the money for the roads and the bridges and the new industry to keep our children at home. I might add that I'm honored to be here at the home of former Governor Ned McWhorter, who's sitting up there with me. He's a wonderful human being. He's my friend. He's been very helpful to me, and he contributed so much to the state of Tennessee.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We appreciate it as always, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week at the Strawberry Festival.
I will be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Don Sundquist, for joining us once again here in Dresden, Tennessee at the Iris Festival Parade. And we got some clowns that are entertaining the folks out in the street.
We do, from the Martin Southside Baptist Church. Clowns is the title of their entry, and very appropriate, as you see there.
And as we have, and there, now listen, look at this guy now, not the one you're seeing on your monitor, the one that was right before him, is throwing out candy out of an old Roy. Is he throwing out dog biscuits to the crowd?
Well, there's pretty good nutrients in there, what I've been told, but no, I think it's just a bag of candy. It fits right in, though.
I have never tried it. And here's some of our area radio stations that we all enjoy, WCDZ and WCMT and their rolling radio band. The good folks of 95.1 FM, and of course those that you hear on, and a lot of the great talk programming that you hear on 1410 AM. And when I'm traveling up from Jackson your way, I always tune them in.
Well, all you see there, Paul Tinkle waving to all the fans, and Paul's a good supporter too of Channel 11. We appreciate everything he does. And of course this year he's in the parade. I'm surprised he's not sitting, well, he's probably announcing from the truck.
That's probably Paul. There is not a parade that's complete without Paul Tinkle either in it or around it somewhere. When I first moved to Jackson, they said, you got to have an opportunity to meet Paul Tinkle before it's over with. You just heard him right there. Best television station in Northwest Tennessee. Thank you, Paul, for that. And of course, the best mix, 101.7. Great radio. Voice of the UT Vols and, of course, the Atlanta Braves and the UTM Skyhawks.
Absolutely, UTM Skyhawks. And of course, Steve, I'll get you a little plug here. Union University women's basketball this year.
You bet. The national champion Lady Bulldogs. It sounds so good to be able to say that after so many years of being in the chase and not quite being able to do it. And this year, WLJT, the home of the NAIA national champions. And we're delighted that that's part of our coverage here. And as you see, we have another gentleman joining us and we are going to take a quick break and let you see some of the folks who are making this parade possible, and then we'll come back and talk to Dr. Joe Anderson.
And welcome back once again to the Dresden Iris Festival. And Steve, we've got an honored guest with us.
We do, as we see the Dresden Pentecostal Choir passing in front of us. They've been entertaining the crowd, singing some great gospel music. And with us now is Dr. Joe Anderson, who is the Outstanding Citizen here. You received the award this year, and we've talked already on this parade about your legendary career as an optometrist and in public service here, but this has to be a great honor for you.
It's a great honor for me, and it's a great honor for my family.
Well, you were mayor here, you've been a city alderman, you've had a lot to do in public service in addition to what you've done for a profession. What does this parade mean to this community and this festival to be able to shine as it does for a week in the spring?
I think it's one of the most outstanding programs that we have going. It does in other words, shine and lets people see Dresden.
Well, in also looking in, we have coming for us little Mr. and Miss Sharon. And John, if you'll tell the folks who's there.
I will do that real quick. This is A Day in the Country, sponsored by Miss Wormser, Queen Amber Nanny, King Zachary McFalls, First Maid Amber Harris, First Page Dylan Allen, Second Maid Kayla Morgan, Second Page Matthew Staggs, Third Maid Amanda Lewis, Fourth Maid Shannon Chappell, First alternate Alexis, and I don't have a last name, sorry. Second alternate Megan Davis.
Dr. Joe, that's what he is known as here in this community, and I think that's wonderful because I think you build that kind of relationship with people throughout the years. And I know it's really the people. Governor Sundquist was talking about how the small towns are really the ones that are breathing the life into states all over the country.
I believe this is true. In other words, you have a place that you come and you raise your children and you don't worry about, in other words, what's going to happen. I'm sure that we have things going on here that they have everywhere else, but it seems that there's a closeness and people look after each other better in a small town.
This is Jerry Reed, candidate for Circuit Court Clerk that you just saw passing before us. One last thing to ask you, if through the years and seeing things like this festival grow and seeing this community maintain its strength, and many times when you've had many communities of this size that somehow have lost their footing across the state, what do you think the secret to that is?
I think the friendship of the people, the working together, and for the good of the town and not the individuals.
Well, you have certainly been a joyous part of that here, and I know the people appreciate you and for being named the outstanding citizen in Dresden and in these parts. We congratulate you and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Joe Anderson. And John, we've got the Greenfield Junior Royalty in their court.
Junior Mr. and Miss Greenfield, sponsored by Briggs Nursery and Royalty Parents. Theme, Blooming Cuties. Queen Megan Porter, King Justin Bills. First Maid, Mallory Robinson. First Page, Cody Powell. Second Maid, Keely Williams. Second Page, Christian Robbins. Third Maid, Brianna Capps. Fourth Maid, Christina McAllister.
And there's the lovely Miss Greenfield. Queen is Sarah Deviney, and the first maid is Tori Stout. Second maid, Whitney Guerin. Third maid, Lanny McKelvey. And the fourth maid is Brittany Freeman. And the Dresden First Baptist Clowns. You don't have a parade without clowns, John, and these are some more great ones here.
We do, as they are the walking folks there, Cheryl McCulley, parents and children of First Baptist Church of Dresden, and we always appreciate everybody who participates in these local parades. And I say local because, again, we do 3 of them a year. In fact, we may do more next year.
That's right.
And it is great to have these folks here.
Well, when you take a look at, and a lot of the people who ride in one of the parades, they actually do all 3 of them that we cover here. And then, of course, there's a few others that we don't do on television, at least at this point. The Teapot Festival over in Trenton, and a few of the other, even the Doodle Soup Festival over in Bradford is another one of the great ones I've had a privilege of being a part of, been a judge in that parade before. And it seems as though for about 7 to 8 weeks in the spring, West and Northwest Tennessee just comes out and makes it really the world their stage. And that's one of the things I love. And you see all these great folks gathered here in downtown in the main square here in Dresden, Tennessee.
And that is exactly right. A lot of vendors here, a lot of good food, a lot of good fun at an event such as this. Coming down the street, it looks like we do have, is this Foster Care Association? And May is National Foster Care Awareness Month. Riding in the truck is Jana Gallimore, Connie Pittman, and other foster parents and foster children.
And certainly, as one who, my wife and I have adopted 2 children, I can safely say that being a foster parent, we have never been that, but we have gone through the training that foster parents have had as well as adoptive parents, and I certainly encourage you that if you're a family who would do that, you give a lot of love to a lot of kids who need it, believe me.
And this is a great event. I mean, the weather could not have been better. Steve, you've talked about years past. It's been cold, it's been rainy, it's been cool. But if people aren't out here, they are missing something.
Absolutely, and one of the things I've always enjoyed at this season of the year is seeing how many people just come and make a day of it. They just decide, and a lot of the ones that are on Friday, they let the kids out of school. Everybody just decides that they put aside their cares and they just enjoy it, and I think, and it's for all ages. You see them, as we've seen them in this parade, as young as 8 or 9 months, and They're here, some of them that are 90. And we've got another one of the great floats with some of the young people on it, John.
And this was actually first place, I believe, out-of-town float. Got first place, Little Mr. and Miss McKenzie, sponsored by McKenzie Merchants. The theme is Titanic, a Ship of Dreams. Junior Miss McKenzie is Samantha Wheat. Junior Mr. is Travis Tyson. First maid, Laura Fowler. First page, Jacob Fozell. Second maid is Amy Moore. Second page is Alan Aiken. Third maid is Whitney Mobbs. Third page is Tyler Thompson. Fourth maid is Jana Pratt. And fourth page is Corey Mans. And coming right on down, of course, you see another young group coming out, the Dresden Cub Scouts, pack 40, pack number 40. And again, you know, this gets to teach, Steve, the young people about tradition and marching in parades, and I guess it teaches them a lot here as far as respect and carrying the colors. I'm sure those young boys are very proud to be walking in this parade.
I had just a moment there that the old allergies started kicking in, as I did one time during the Fish Fry Festival last week. You're right, absolutely on that, John, because, and the other thing, too, it provides a great memory for these young men, because there is nothing that stays with you throughout your young life as that first opportunity that you had to walk or to ride in a parade. There's something that doesn't matter how big or how small the town is, people just always remember that. And there's another one who's going to remember it for all time right there. That guy, now I don't know whether he's a permanent part of this parade, but I think he's to depict a cub of sorts, because he looks like at one point in his life he could have been.
And actually, yeah, they are now lining up, I believe, yes, to pay tribute and honor to all the folks on the reviewing stand.
And this is a great moment in this parade. These young men decked out in their orange colors and stopped to see the two governors.
I tell you what, it is great in Dresden, Tennessee to have the former governor and, of course, Don Sundquist, the current governor, to be here and join us on an event like this. It's hard in their schedules to make it to all these, and we do appreciate them. And right now, Steve, you've got the royalty for the Irish Festival.
That's right, and right now, as you're seeing down the street, this is Bob Spellings, candidate for Register of Deeds, but when you saw this young lady sitting here beside us, I think what most folks would like is for the camera to get off of us and just strictly on her. I think that's what most people would like. This is Jody Bennett, who is the Irish Festival Hostess Princess. And Jody, this has got to be a great honor for you.
Yes, it's a very great honor. It's one of my biggest dreams is to be the Hostess Princess of the Irish Festival.
And I'll excuse myself for a moment. As I said, the allergies are kicking in for just a moment.
That's fine.
In particular, what do you do and what kind of competition do you go through to be selected for this?
What we do is we just have an interview. At the pageant, we have an interview. We have to wear an interview suit, and then we go out in our casual attire on the stage. Then we come back, and we have our evening gown award, and then we go and we have a stage question, and then they pick the winners.
And you were at this
yes.
year. Now, what year are you in school, and what are your future plans?
I'm a senior at Dresden High School this year, and after graduation, I plan to work this summer, and then in the fall, I'm going to attend the University of Tennessee Martin, and I'm going to major in pre-physical therapy.
Well, wonderful, and that is such a burgeoning field because so many young people I know are going into it, and it's becoming very hard, and I know in a lot of ways to get into some of the schools where you get the specialized training.
And real quick, that was Mac Groves Baptist Church Youth Group. Again, clowns going through the parade.
We've had a lot of these clowns this week.
We sure have.
Well, Jody, it has just been a delight to have you with us.
Thank you.
And all of the people who are also part of the court here, we congratulate them and wish you very well as far as the rest of the parade, the festival, and also in your future career.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Jody Bennett, the Irish Festival Hostess Princess, who has joined us. And I think, John, if they send us a few more like that, it'll brighten up the day quite well.
Well, it will that indeed, as we have a lot of royalty in all these parades. And you see there the crowd, you know, I thought the crowd was going to be a little light, but I tell you what, the crowd is really filled in. There's a lot of folks here. I think you gave estimates of 40,000, what'd you?
Somewhere thereabouts, I think, by the time it's all totaled along the streets, because this is a pretty long parade route. They gather about 1.5 miles to 2 miles up the road to organize this parade from where we are in downtown. Now you're hearing the Jackson Middle School Band that's directed by Chester McKinney. They have 79 members. The drum majors are Emily Fox and Brooks Tyree, and let's listen to them. And that's the Jackson Middle School Band. And they've always been a great group. We saw them last week when they were over in Paris for the Fish Fry Festival. And joining us right now is State Senator Roy Herron. And Roy, you've always got some of the younger generation either on top or underneath you somewhere there around when you're at these parades.
I feel practically naked. Two of my little boys have grown up now. They're in Tiger Cubs, so they're marching by themselves today. Mama and I just felt almost left out.
Didn't we see them riding in at least one or two of them riding in the convertible in the Fish Fry Parade?
This boy right here on my shoulders was in the convertible for me and let me get out and shake hands and visit with folks. He did a great job. Fell asleep a couple of times, but they woke him and he just kept going.
Roy, as we've asked so many of the people who are here that have had to be in Nashville a lot lately, what's your assessment of the session we just had?
I think we had a good session. There was the potential for a lot of damage. You have to play both offense and defense, and sometimes I've decided playing, just like in sports, a good defense can win you a lot of games, and there were a lot of proposals that I didn't think were in the best interest of Northwest Tennessee, not in the best interest of Tennesseans, and quite frankly, we stopped a lot of those. And then on the offensive side, something I've worked on for going on 4 years now, the Crime Victims Bill of Rights. We were able to get it through the Senate and the House. It'll go before the voters in November, and that'll provide crime victims with constitutional rights just like criminals have. And for the first time in Tennessee history, criminals and those accused of crime have 27 different constitutional rights. Crime victims have none. So I'm very excited about that.
And John, I think we've seen Moolah Moolah come down the street, and that is sponsored by the Weekly County Bank. John, Roy, of course, has always been a supporter of public television and of WLJT throughout all the years he's been in public office.
He has, and West Tennessee is very proud to have Roy representing us throughout the state, and always been a supporter, and we appreciate everything you do for us and what we can do for West Tennessee.
Well, I appreciate what y'all do for us. Our boys, we don't watch a lot of television, and they watch a whole lot of public television when they do watch it. I appreciate what y'all do for all of us.
Well, thank you very much for being with us, and we'll see you walking along in the Strawberry Festival next weekend.
I look forward to being there.
Thank you, Roy Herron, State Senator, for joining us once again. And this is the Dresden Junior Miss Royalty, John.
And they are Springtime Splendor, sponsored by the Weekly County Bank. Queen is Rachel Mansfield, first maid Farrah Winstead, second maid Allison Ravis, third maid Tamara Farrell, and fourth maid Sonny Jackson.
Now you got a name like Sonny, it's appropriate for this parade.
It is, and we are proud for all this weather. I mean, all week was rainy, cold, misting, pouring down rain, and today the sun is out all over West Tennessee, and it's great.
Well, I mentioned to you, we taped a couple of episodes of I've Heard That Song on Monday night when the rain was pelting the top of our building, and it sounded like we were doing the show in the midst of a rainstorm. So I'm real curious as to how that's going to sound when those shows air. Right now, you are looking at a truck and trailer with antique toys, sponsored by Selden Cashin, candidate for road supervisor. We've already seen Selden in the parade, and joining us here at our viewing stand is Christy Brown. She is the Iris Festival Territorial Queen. And Christy, it's good to have you with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit about Christy Brown. Tell the Christy Brown story to us.
Okay, I'm from South Fulton, a little bitty town, about 20 minutes away. I'm a freshman at UTM. Majoring in communications, so I'll be doing this one of these days.
Hey, that sounds... John, you've got somebody who's ready to take over for us.
Take over your job.
There you go. Hey, that's all right. We're always looking for somebody, so we'll bring you right in here.
Christy, in going through all of this competition, it really has to be a great thrill for the young ladies to have an opportunity to represent this area.
Yes, it is. In South Fulton, we don't have anything like this, and so coming to Dresden, these people have been so nice, and I've been coming to different things all week, and everyone has just been great, and I've loved it. I hate to see it end.
Well, you mentioned,
been a lot of fun.
As we're looking right now at Miss Avon Book's Relay for Life, it's called Swinging on a Cure, and the queen of this float is Brittany Bills. Junior Miss is Anna Marie Gregory. The Junior Mr. Avon Books is Pate Puckett. First maid Courtney McMillan. First page Matthew Stack. Second maid is Brooksy Hornsby, and second page is Ty Puckett. And as we go on and see some of the rest of this with the Gibson County Fairest of the Fair coming along right here, and I believe, well, I'm not sure that's who that is.
Well, we're going to have to back that one up. I believe we just have a nice little addition to the parade here.
That's right. I'm not sure who it's representing, but we're glad to have them here in this, and the young people riding in the back of that Christy, one last thing. You mentioned that you were looking forward into a career in communications. Is it really that you want to do newscasting or on-air work?
Broadcast journalism is where I'm headed right now.
Well,
so hopefully that'll work out and I'll be able to find something when it's done.
Well, I think you just really pursue it very well. That was what I was part of for so many years. Well, we thank you for being with us,
Thank
and
you very
congratulations
much.
on representing
Thank
the festival.
you. Nice to see you all.
That's Christy Brown. And John, who do we have here? I believe it's the Palmersville royalty that we're being told.
I believe it is. I can remember them from last year. This is sponsored by the parents and businesses of Palmersville. Theme is 50s and 60s. Queen Kelsey Curry, King Jake Sides, Queen Lucy Redmond, King Hunter Hefner. Also writing are maids, pages, and category winners, and we didn't have any names available, but you see them there. I tell you what, if they're going to dance throughout these parades, they are going to be tired tonight.
Don't you love those poodle skirts and the guys that look like third cousins to Fonzie on there? I love it. And coming up right behind them, you're taking a look at the Miss Gleason royalty. They're riding in this gorgeous Mustang. The queen is Nicole Hoskins, and the first maid is Brandy House. Second maid is Ashley Johnson. Third maid, Leslie Sawyers. Fourth maid, Jill Braun. And as we see them, John, I want to say a special hello to a lady who usually is here with us doing the parade, Pam Copeland, who has had some surgery in just recent days, and it's a little bit slower for her right now, but we wish her well.
We do wish her well. Luckily, she is out. In fact, we saw her here at the parade. Just moving a little bit slow, but she's going to be back, I think, with a full recovery in just a couple of weeks back at work, and we look forward to having her back here next year.
Well, one thing about Pam, I don't think she'll move slow for a long period of time because she is always such an active part, and I know this has just about killed her to have to miss this portion of this season here in Dresden. Right now it's the Miss Martin royalty, and they are the Tropical Beauties, sponsored by a number of the Martin City businesses. The queen is Hillary Hunt. First maid is Selena Hirschberger. Second maid is Deshaud Howell. Third maid Kara Johnson, and the fourth maid Mary Margaret Pritchett. And they are in their beautiful, well, now I'm colorblind, but I'm going to say this is orange or a little bit of a peach here, but sometimes, as colorblind as I am, I miscue on that.
Well, let's see. Anybody can adjust their television. I'm going to call it red, see? So
okay.
Red and green. The queen in the green, and very appropriate for Tropical Beauties. Coming up next.
Hey, look, Katrina's telling us it's Carl.
Carl. Oh, well, see, it's not red, it's not peach, it's not. Okay, it's a combination. So adjust your set to any color you'd like to see there.
There you go.
Coming up next, we do have the Westview Martin Chargers Marching Band.
And they are one of the great units. We have seen them, of course, in all the parades, saw them last weekend. We remind you again that for those of you who are watching our Saturday night replay, tomorrow night here on WLJT at 10 o'clock, we will be bringing you the replay of the Fish Fry Parade from last weekend. So we hope that you'll be watching that on Sunday night, May the 3rd. At 10 o'clock p.m. And for those of you who missed it last weekend or didn't set your VCRs and had a family member or a friend in that parade, we hope you'll join us for that. And again, it's, as John has said so far on this parade, that we look forward to being in these festivals because this is what brings us in touch with the viewers who support us.
Exactly. This is something that we do at WLJT to try to provide an opportunity for some coverage and of events that, you know, you're not going to get anywhere else. And we're happy to be out here providing this. It is great. You know, we go to all these parades. Of course, we see a lot of the same floats. Obviously, the royalties out here, but there's always something a little different about every festival.
That's right, and there's, because each community is unique, that we travel to visit. The Charger Marching Band is striking up, and so let's listen to them. That's that classic hit from the 1950s by the Everly Brothers, Let It Be Me, and they play that so very, very well in all of these festivals. The Martin Westview High School Band. And we also remind you that we invite those of you who enjoy these events to call and make a pledge to public television. We don't usually make too many pitches, but we'll encourage you. If you enjoy this and you've had somebody watching, as we see the 1998 Southern Royalty Sweetheart Beauties, this is Crystal Thornsberry, who is riding aboard. And this is the Queen, actually, Christy Frazier, who is riding this float today. But we encourage you to call 1-800-366-9558 Monday through Friday and become a member of public television, because it is viewers like you that help us be able to afford to do these events every year.
And thank you for that, Steve. And next up, you see the Brownie Troop 482, parents walking, Anna Sexton and Lynn Collins, along with all of the youngsters of that troop. That's right, I started that group, but it's a troop. That is correct. And once again, they're having a great time.
And right behind them, this is a group that is known as the Extreme Team. They are from Martin. They are directed by Eddie Boyd. And these young people look like they are getting ready to go for a basketball game somewhere. I think they're going to stop and do a little bit of entertaining for us, but I'm not really sure. Ooh, I think, there we go. Now, if you can't hear the music, again, I think they're playing it out of the back of this vehicle, so we're going to try to kick it up and see if we can hear a little bit more. Well, they are representing a number of different NBA teams, the USA Olympic team that Anthony Hardaway was a part of. Sean Kemp, a lot of big NBA stars are represented on their uniforms. Entertaining the crowd here that every year just makes this such a very, very special festival in Dresden and all throughout Northwest Tennessee. And
now, you know, Steve, you talked about 57 Chevrolet. Here comes a car that I like quite a bit.
I do too.
And I will never guess at the year because I don't want to be wrong by all these folks. As the Extreme Team perform for the reviewing stand.
And right behind them, somebody is tossing a little more candy out to the crowd. That's something that gets favor with politicians when they do that. Now these young ladies, now one thing about it, these young ladies knew to stop before the cameras to do this. And they're getting a nice hand from the folks who are seeing them right in front of us here in the reviewing stand, right across from the county courthouse in Dresden, Tennessee. A beautiful town that has some of the finest people, my good friends George and Janet Turbeville, that we've known for so long. And there you see Governor and Mrs. Sundquist once again, along with their friends that are here on the stand, and a lot of the local folks, Dr. Joe Anderson, Mayor Mike Pentecost, who we had an opportunity to talk with earlier.
Remind people that are tuning in that don't know, this is Dresden, Tennessee, the Iris Festival. This is the 19th year, and it's getting bigger and better every year as Mayor Mike Pentecost has been a big part of that over the years. I understand, though, he may not be running for re-election. He's about ready to pass the torch on, I think, to somebody else.
Well, he has served this community wonderfully, and I think that you look at some of these gentlemen who have given their lives in public service for their communities, and they have done a great job, because most of these people, this is not a full-time job. That's Houston Patrick.
Candidate for re-election for Register of Deeds, and you see the car there, great automobile he's riding in.
Yeah, I believe you and I could slip off a little ride in that one today.
Oh, there are a lot of great cars here.
Now, I think we know who these folks are coming up here.
And probably the best vehicle in the parade, but I'm biased, so therefore it probably doesn't count. The WLJT Channel 11, Deanna Freeman and Isaac. We appreciate them driving for us today in the parade.
Now, I'm not sure if Isaac's not the one driving.
Well, he may be. You see there the replays, Saturday, May 2nd, 9:30, Sunday, May the 10th at 10 p.m. We're doing these parades just for you. And coming up next, we do have a 1952 M38 military Jeep, sponsored by David McIntyre. Riding in the Jeep is Mr. McIntyre's grandkids, Taylor, Hillary, and Jordan, although I don't think they're all in there anymore.
And next we have, coming along, this is one of the most beautiful floats, and this is one of the out-of-town winners. In fact, this was the third place winner for the out-of-town floats. It's Little Mr. and Miss Martin Royalty. And the queen is Jessica Forsyth, the king Scout Edwards, the first maid Samantha Daly, first page Barclay Legends. Second maid is Kately Taylor, the second page Matthew Castleman, third maid Heather Crow, and the third page is Brennan Derby. And of course that is Jessica Forsyth that you see waving to the crowd.
And as you mentioned, this float got out of town third place, and it is a great looking float.
It's a bit of a musical float as we see the note along the side. A lot of these good folks from Martin coming down here to Dresden to take part in the parade. And right behind them we have some more of our beautiful young ladies. John, I believe it's the Junior Miss Gleason for 1998.
It is that. Queen is Selena Smith. First maid is Juliet Dillard. Second maid is Heather Baker. Again, the 1998 Junior Miss Gleason royalty. And you know, the royalty, they come out to all these parades and participate. But again, when they participate in these events, it's teaching them and to be, you know, responsible young adults as they come up in those young years.
That's right. We remind everyone also that next weekend we will have the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival Parade, and it'll be again a Saturday one week and Sunday the next week, replay of the parade. Of course, the parade will take place on Friday in downtown Humboldt, Tennessee, and it's the biggest and the longest of all of them, and so we hope you'll join us for that. You're hearing a big band strike up in the background. That is the Dyer County High School Band that has 80 members. Field commander is Jessica Kilo, and it's directed by Glenn Gately. Let's listen now to the Dyer County High School Band. And that is The Colors of the Wind from the movie Pocahontas. And John, one thing that we have learned is that this is indeed the biggest parade. I think the longest Irish Festival parade ever did was 1 hour and 5 minutes, and we've already passed 1 hour 10.
And we've got a ways to go. As you see here, a pickup truck, vintage pickup truck sponsored by the Dresden Medical Associates. Walking and riding are the staff and children, I guess. Boy, I tell you what, again, you see a lot, festivals do that, and these types of events that bring out a lot of different vehicles. And if you enjoy old cars, trucks, antique farm equipment, I mean, we saw some of that earlier. It is just great to come out and participate in an event such as this.
Now, what I would love to see at one of these parades is some of those rodeo cowboys like you called last weekend and see them try to ride one of those Brahma bulls coming down the street. I don't think they'd like that on the concrete, though.
that doesn't give them much to be thrown off on, but
no. That was fun.
Coming down the street, Sharon Junior Miss and her court, sponsored by the Sharon PTO and parents. Queen Christy Newsom, first maid Megan Strickland, second maid Honey Shepard, third maid is Misty Morgan, and fourth is Mimi Morgan. So, of course, I don't know if they're related, so I can't let you know that. Maybe.
I'm going to make a guess. I'm going to make a strong guess that they may be at that point.
We've still got a lot of information to go, but I've been told we are getting close to the end, but I don't know. We've still got quite a few entries here, so we'll see what comes down the street. We're going to cover it all for you.
That's exactly right. And they tell us that it's exhibit, float, or car number 91 is the last one we're looking for, and they say it's actually in sight, so they're going to move them through relatively quickly. Coming up with us now, this is the PTO preteen. This is PTO Jewel, sponsored by Tennessee Community Bank. The queen is Brittany Essery. The first maid is Anderson Stallings. The second maid is Nina Bryant. Third maid, Christina Powers. And the fourth maid is Samantha Brewer. And this is in another beautiful iris purple color and white. And some great young people along on this float. Got that beautiful treasure chest behind them.
You know, a lot of work goes into getting floats ready, and a lot of dedication for anybody, whether it's a civic group or individuals, to get these floats put together for these events.
I remember when I was in high school, we had a homecoming parade every year, and we spent a week trying to get them ready, and there was nothing like that day when the parade started and you saw your work finished and let everybody else have an opportunity to share in it.
Coming down the street now, the Martin Brownie and Girl Scout Troop 433. Marching is leader Patricia Gregory. They are sponsored by Cruz Farm and their parents.
And it looks like the Lawrence Welk show here. They're blowing the bubbles all around us. And they're flying everywhere. Got a little bit of a wind here today, and they're flying everywhere. In fact, you can watch the Lawrence Welk show every Saturday and Thursday night right here on WLJT. I don't know if that young lady does. In fact, I don't even know if these young people really know the significance of that.
they probably don't. They don't know. They're not old enough to appreciate it, but I guarantee you probably their grandparents like it very much.
That's right. And that's a classic for public television that you see here every week on Channel 11. Coming up next, you have the Martin Jr. Miss Float, and this is called Celebrate Spring. It is sponsored by the Pilot Club. The queen is Megan Hunter. The first maid is Helen Sutton. The second maid, Chastity Rooks. The third maid is Christian Howie. And the fourth maid is Elise Hawks.
And I believe that's Christian Hoy, but if it's not, if you were right or I'm right, it doesn't matter.
I will stand corrected on that. That's one of those. We always say if we mispronounce a name, we have so many to go through, and sometimes the spellings are a little different than standard names. We apologize. It's not that we don't appreciate you folks. It's just that sometimes we don't know.
Well, that's exactly right. I guarantee you give me 100 names, I'll mispronounce probably half of them.
I think we've had a pretty good track record on it today. And again, you're watching the 19th Annual Iris Festival Parade here on WLJT, Channel 11, reflecting the best of West Tennessee. And again, we're delighted, Steve Beverly, John Harris with you, delighted to bring you all the action here. And you're hearing a loud sound that we regularly hear in this and a lot of the other parades we're a part of. And this is one of the classics that we see all the time. And coming down the street, John, it's one that I think also reminds us of food.
Coming down the street, we have the Miller's Country Ham Incorporated presenting Bring Home the Memories. And you see there exactly that. We're looking for the memories. Huh?
Now you see what's hanging down from the roof of this also. You got all of those country hams, and they make you just want to stop and see if it was legit, if you could cut the thing open and just start a spread right here in the middle of the street.
Well, I believe if you take either one of those down off that float, you can probably fry them up here just in a few minutes.
Great folks enjoying today's parade, and we hope you are doing so too. And there's the big Miller ham truck, sponsored by Miller's Country Ham. This is one of the biggest trucks in the whole parade. This is a Ford F9000, a truck and trailer. We were told they were actually frying ham on the back of that float, and I almost feel like I can smell it. I don't know whether it is the wish of it or not.
Well, I saw that at the very end, and I could see him flipping that. I told you they'd fry that up pretty quick.
That's right. They say that float was dedicated to the legacy of Grover and Glenn Miller. And we've got a big band that's coming along behind us right now, and I think you're going to find this is another of the add-on bands that's here in the parade, I believe perhaps for the first time. This is the Decatur County Riverside Marching Panther Band. We saw them last week at the Fish Fry Parade, and they're also an excellent unit. They've got 68 members. The field commander is Janice Hill, and the band is directed by Sharon Brady. It's got 2 Ds. It could be Brady, but we'll see what happens out of all of this. And it's wonderful to have these folks over from Decatur County participating with us this year, and we're delighted to have them in the Irish Festival Parade. Coming down the sights and sounds of Main Street. They march approximately 2 miles by the time they finish this parade. They get a lot of great exercise.
One of the big draws, of course, for all these bands, they are competing for placing, I guess, trophies and prizes. And every festival when they march, most all of them compete for best of show, I guess, so they'd love to take a trophy home with them.
I'll tell you who enjoys it about as much as the kids who are in the parade. I don't mean to call them kids, they resent that, but the young people that are in this parade, it's the parents, because I will tell you there are very, very few groups of people who are as loyal to what their children do as band parents. They have great boosters in all of these bands that are around here, and we salute them because it takes a lot of time and effort, and a lot of times parents taking time off work in order to go support these young people in their competitions. When they're not in parades, they're in competitions almost every weekend during the school year. And so let's hear the Panther Band. Riverside Marching Panther Band, and we have enjoyed having them part of this parade. And John, the king and queen of the jungle?
That's what it says, sponsored by the Celebration Pageant. Queen is Hannah Weeks, King Chase Roney. And you see there, the jungle. And if you take a good close look, they look like they've just come out of the jungle.
We had, if we had Jay Silverheels here, he would say, him Tarzan, her Jane. One of my favorite lines out of the Lone Ranger was when they were discussing trying to go after a certain group of crooks, and Tonto said, him Batman. Great acting and great dialogue in that series, but I still love it.
I was going to say, wait a minute, I grew up watching that.
You and I both.
And coming up, Fantastic Fuzzy, mascot of Fantastic Sam's. Now, I didn't know they had a mascot.
I didn't either.
So, see, you learned something here on public television.
It's like when I was with Auburn University a few years back, and we were at the Sugar Bowl against Syracuse, and Syracuse's mascot looked like the Kool-Aid smiling pitcher. Fantastic Sam's. sponsoring a truck here in the parade. And coming up next, you're going to see some more lovely young ladies. The Miss Sharon Royalty will be coming right behind us, and their float is called Southern Grace. And when you see them, you're going to see exactly what we mean. Sponsored by B&R Gear and the Bank of Sharon. Miss Sharon is Amanda Davis. The first maid is Beth Hankins. The second maid, Teresa Reynolds. Third maid is Hope McDaniel, and the fourth maid is Brittany Hayes. And this is one of the most beautiful reflections of the Old South I think I have ever seen in one of these parades.
It is that. I mean, whoever put all this together deserves a lot of credit. That is a very classy looking float. And appropriate to have some umbrellas on this bright sunny day. Probably came in handy.
I think that's helped them quite a bit. And I think the young lady who's the queen, who's under the gazebo, certainly Amanda Davis, I think that's really nice for her to be able to protect from all of that. And coming up next, John, the Greenfield Junior Miss Royalty.
Queen Candid Tart, first maid Jenny Stout, second maid Lindsay Box, third maid Candace Robinson, and fourth maid Amber McConnell.
I think that was Candace Tart. I think somebody hit a misprint on our sheet here. Selden Cashin. Boy, we've seen a lot of Selden Cashin vehicles in this parade. Candidate for road supervisor. And coming up next after this is a series of go-karts that we have. Or I think maybe the go-karts have left us. I think this is the Iris Festival Toddler Territorial Queen for 1997. And the queen is Caitlin Elizabeth Brundage. And isn't she a doll?
She is that, something great. Now the go-karts you mentioned, Steve, probably on the side streets, riding all around Dresden.
Those guys probably decided, I don't want to fool with this parade anymore. We're going to go off and have a race somewhere. We thought about you. It was Patrick Robinson and Cameron Baker, so they can say they had their names mentioned on television.
And Caitlin Brundage, I believe she's having a great time on top of that car.
What a cutie. Well, we want to again thank all of you for being with us. We've got just a little bit more parade left to go, and reminding you again about our upcoming parade coverage. Now, this parade, if you're watching us on Saturday night, May the 2nd, will be replayed on Sunday night, May 10th, and the time will be 10 o'clock, so you'll see us from 10 till a little bit after 11:30, and then next weekend on Saturday night in this time slot, you'll see the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival Parade from Humboldt. Hope you'll join us for the replay of this again and also for the Strawberry Festival.
And right there, the royalty is there. Hostess Princess Rachel Jones, first maid Carrie Sanders, second maid Holly Ziegler, third maid Ginger Brassfield. And of course, we will be traveling right on down the road next week and bring that parade for you, depending on what night you're watching. I realize this is tape delayed, and that mascot has been with them now about 12 years. I believe it was 1986, the first year the strawberry started. And that's the big strawberry.
The Territorial Queen is Becky Howard, junior host Bradley Matthews, junior hostess Kendra Vales, first maid Melanie Hussain, first page Christopher Brassfield, second maid Rachel DeLoach, second page, I hope I get this right, Bria Weehawks, but I probably missed that one, third maid Madeline Sweeney, and the third page Brandon Moses. And here's another vehicle, John.
And coming right on down the street this is from Fisher Chevrolet in Dresden, Tennessee.
And I believe that Blazer is driven by Doug Fisher. And that's followed by a Chevy Corvette, sponsored by Bobby Joe and Kathy Potts, that's driven by Christy Potts. And we have a lot of these vehicles to wind up our parade as we are getting to the home stretch of what will be about an hour and a half of parade coverage. As we said, the biggest, the longest Iris Festival parade here. And we've enjoyed every minute of being with you, and for me, this is the 5th year in a row of being here on the streets of Dresden. Right now, you got a 1937 Pro Mod Chevy Coupe race car. Here's some of the classic vehicles that you see. This is sponsored by, again, also Bobby Joe and Kathy Potts, and it's driven by BJ Potts. Now, John, wouldn't you like to ride around Martin with that vehicle, or drive all up and down West Tennessee?
I would. In fact, I believe this has got an in-town miscellaneous award for having this one here. And I'll tell you what, you see 1996 Junior Dragster, sponsored by Bobby Joe and Kathy Potts, driven by Bradley Potts.
Hey, Bobby Joe and Kathy have a lot of interesting vehicles wherever they live.
I'll tell you what, that one right there is something as as you've already told them about it, I don't know where they race it, but I don't think I'd want to race it.
It's a little bit low to the ground. Now this one coming right behind it looks like a variation on the Batmobile without as much protection. Oh my gracious. And then we've got a vehicle promoting the re-election of Ron Gifford for Weakley County Executive. And then next, you're seeing what we see everywhere, Robert Cantrell's steam engine and trailer that goes everywhere. We see parades in West Tennessee. And we usually just decide to call a halt to the commentary and let Bob blow his whistle.
I guarantee you Bob can blow us out of here right now if he wants to blow that whistle very long. That is a great steam engine, and it is, you know, it's wonderful that somebody like that would do a lot of work and get that to a parade like this.
Oh, what a classic.
Of course, he had it at the fish fry, and of course you look around, some people are holding their ears a little bit. It is great, though, to see a piece of history like that.
Absolutely. And those young people riding along behind. Well, Bob is a tradition in all of these parades that we cover. Right behind that, you're seeing a 1908 Orient buckboard car riding as candidate for re-election for County Executive, Ron Gifford, and that is sponsored by Bob Cantrell. And again, another of the classic vehicles, although I don't think you could race this one very well, John.
Well, I tell you what, though, if I was in the parade, I think I'd rather be riding than walking, so.
That's true.
What a great way to ride in the parade.
Now look at this one coming.
Now here's one a
here.
lot of people would enjoy seeing. This is a 1940 Packard car sponsored by Robert Cantrell. Again, appreciate him bringing that up. And I know a lot of folks that would love seeing that and would remember that car from years ago.
And then we have representing Jolly Springs Baptist Church and a lot of great young people and a couple more clowns. So many of these churches have the great clown ministries in this area. We have a lot of young people at Union University who participate in that, and it's something that really touches and reaches many, many young people in a very special and creative way in ministry, and we salute all of the young people who do participate in that all throughout our region. And they're blowing the bubbles. They're giving us another Lawrence Welk plug here and also tossing the candy up into the stands. Lawrence Welk Show has been around since 1955. This is the 44th consecutive year that the Lawrence Welk Show has, 43rd consecutive year that it has been on television on Saturday night somewhere. And we're happy that public television and the Oklahoma Network make that available for us here. And another vehicle, John.
We do have another vehicle, and do I have this one down here as I look around?
This is the Avon Books Relay for Life.
All right, Queen Allison Rivas, car provided and driven by Jim Fisher, and riding shotgun is Judge Tommy Moore. Judge Moore runs in the race that they have here every Saturday morning. Always places last.
What a tradition. Sean Adams in this lowrider Nissan truck, followed by a 1955 Chevy that's driven by John Arnold, and we're getting almost to the very end of this.
You know you're coming to the end, I guess, when you get to see the horses, wagons, and the horses at the end of the parade. And you know what? I tell you what, some of these wagons you see here have been reconditioned and have some wheels. Dog decided he's going to join the parade too.
That little beagle puppy, I hope he doesn't get under that wheel too close.
You look at these wagons, though, like I said, some of them have been reconditioned to have a little different tires on them, but this is how people traveled many years ago.
And in a parade, it's a lovely way to do it, particularly when you got a covering over you to protect you from the sun. Lovely, lovely horses. Boy, my daughter would love these. Oh, boy, she's a horse fan. There's another beagle. Or did he back up and come back around?
He may have. We may have him. He may just be working the crowd.
I think he wants to come around here and be on television with us, but I'm not sure. They've suddenly stalled in line just a little bit before they make their way through, and those behind them are beginning to hit the streets and get toward their cars as this 19th annual Iris Festival Parade from Dresden, Tennessee is almost history. And it's been indeed a pleasure for John and me to be with you again today. And I will say to all of you folks in Dresden, it's been great to be with you again. And for you folks in Jackson, I look forward to seeing you Monday and Thursday night. And I've heard that song. And Also, for all of you across West Tennessee, John and I will be back together next weekend when we join together for the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival Parade.
We will be doing that as we have just a little bit more of this parade. We're not going to go away yet because everybody's going to have a chance here.
Look at this spotted one that's coming by right here.
Tell you what, there are some beautiful horses here. And this is, I've always wanted to ride a horse in a parade. The only problem is, like I say, they're last. And you get to miss everything. So, but
I think we've got a car that somehow was out of order here in the parade, and so I think they're going to trail the rear of this. This is going to be Junior Miss Palmersville after you see the horses, so we're not going to go away yet. Got to get these young ladies. Junior Miss Palmersville, the queen is Amanda Steffen. The first mate is Alyssa Marcus, second mate is Emily Rook, and the third mate is Amber Hammond. Got a horse right in front of them that's not too proud of where he is. He's being a little obstinate. Of course, as we're taping this, the Kentucky Derby, as you're watching this, is already history. And I'm wondering if one of them is just seeing that, so he's anxious to get back into the stall to see the race. Well, John, it has been great to be with you, and we look forward to next weekend in Humboldt.
we do that as we wind up here in Dresden, Tennessee with the Irish Festival. Thank you for watching.
The program you've been watching was made possible through the generous financial support of West Tennessee PBS viewers like you. Please visit westtnpbs.org and make a donation today so that we can continue to make local programs like this possible. Thank you.